Hope you guys had a good week. I am absolutely dead inside. I got smashed in pretty much every league, man. Just 30-point performances all over the place. But we have to look forward, man. We have to improve our team. So we have to look at the waiver wire, man. We're going to do a week 6 waiver wire video here. I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite pickups. And I'm going to also talk about maybe some guys you could probably drop. Let's see if we get to that in this video. If you guys want to help show support, liking the video is the best way. Subscribe if you want to catch more of this. And let's hop into this video. We're going to start here with Michael Carter, man. So we kind of had like a little bit of a debate before this week of whether it would be Michael Carter or Emari Demercado. Off rip, dude, it was Michael Carter. He was getting most of the early down work. He ends up getting the touchdown. His yards per carry was not very good. It was kind of a slugfest of a game. It was just a weird game in general. Titans are not really a team you can run on super well. Some teams have, some teams haven't. But it looks like Carter's going to be the main guy until Trey Benson returns. And that's if Trey Benson is going to be himself, if they just give the backfield back to him. I probably predict that that happens, but either way, there's going to be at least 3 more weeks of Michael Carter being the starter. Emari Demercado got like smacked by the head coach, dude. It was absolutely insane on the sideline after the fumble. This, the huge, it was like a 70-yard run, fumbles it right before he gets in the end zone. It was just like, it was a game-losing play, essentially, right? They would have went up by like 4 scores at that point. And the coach was legitimately like screaming in his ear, like, you dipshit, what have you done? You probably lost us the game. And then he like smacks him in the chest. It was crazy, man. You can probably find it on Twitter. But that makes Michael Carter the #1 pickup. He was probably already picked up, let's be honest, but because we see 67% rostered, he wasn't really started most of the places. But nevertheless, if he's available, pick him up. He's going to be a starter. Demercado's probably going to get sent to the Shadow Realm, dude. He's going to be in the Dream Dimension. And Bam Knight is probably another guy where, if you're down absolutely horrendous at the moment, man, you could pick up Bam Knight just to see what happens. Maybe he takes the Demercado third down role. And there could be like a little 2-man committee going on with Bam Knight because, Bam does get the touchdown. Let's see if we can find him here on this list. Yeah, man, Bam Knight goes 4 for 11, also not very good yards per carry. He gets 1 catch for 13 yards and then gets the touchdown as well. So Michael Carter, Bam Knight, those guys are probably at the top of the list. This is it's a pretty competent offense. They can score points, but, just one more thing. I do want to say that in the Discord link below and in the comments, I'm going to be giving you guys a FAAB recommendation. It's just a little document that shows you my rankings of who I want to pick up and then how much FAAB I would personally spend. It's like a percentage. So you guys can go join the Discord and get that. It's also just a dope community in general. We're talking ball every day. Next, we got to talk about Rico Dowdle, but he's not the waiver pickup. He's probably already picked up. He's rostered in pretty much every league. It says 0% here, but he's pretty much widely rostered. I am absolutely dead inside. He has 200 plus scrimmage yards, absolutely destroys this Dolphins defense, which was atrocious, right? Like, I had this matchup circled for the past couple weeks. I'm a Chuba Hubbard owner, and I'm literally going to quit fantasy football, man, because I just watched Rico Dowdle get fucking 30 fantasy points. And in my main league, Chuba is on my IR, and I'm watching Rico on somebody else's bench pop off. I know I sound like a salty bitch right now, but that's just how it is. But I do want to say something, man. Trevor Etienne is the guy that you should be picking up this week because there's a chance that Rico Dowdle got injured, man. I want to show you this video. This was from Tom Christ, what a name. After this play, he said that Rico Dowdle had trouble. He had hard time weight bearing on it. And then he points at his knee. You can't really see it very well in the video, but that's just something to keep in mind, man. I don't know if it's going to be something. Maybe he misses a game. There's even a chance that Chuba Hubbard comes back. They said he's day-to-day. They're not going to put him on IR or anything. So Trevor Etienne, man, is someone where he goes 4 for 22, 5.5 yards per carry, gets a catch. He's like decently involved. Snap rates are not out yet here on Sleeper, so we don't really know how many snaps he played, but it was the Rico show for the most part. So I'm not saying Trevor Etienne's going to be something if Dowdle's gone and if Chuba's back, but pick him up. They get to play the Cowboys defense next, which they just got gashed 14 for 113 by Breece Hall, so make sure you guys go and pick him up. Next, we're going to be talking about 2 guys. We got to talk about Hassan Haskins, RB5 at this point. I don't know how many RBs they're down to at this point, but Omarion Hampton gets injured, and he was seen leaving the locker room in a walking boot. So Hassan Haskins, man, like next man up at this point. I don't know if he's even a good prospect. I don't really know much about him. He's played less than 10% of snaps all year, and he gets thrust into a little bit of a role. He goes 5 for 13, trash, 1 for 2 in receiving, also trash. And consequently, or conversely, we also have Kimani Vidal, who's a guy who my dumbass drafted in my dynasty league in like the first round a couple seasons ago. He's also garbage, but 4 for 8. I don't want to be mean to these players. They're not garbage, man. They're just, compared to the starters and stuff, they haven't really done much. 4 for 18, 4.5 yards per carry. Also 1 catch for 1 yard. It's like both of them, dude. 1 catch for 2 yards, 1 catch for 1 yard. The Chargers are down horrendous at the moment, but we don't really know who's going to be relevant here. We don't know if it's going to be Vidal. We don't know if it's going to be Haskins. And because of that, we kind of have to pick them both up, dude. Now, Haskins is the next guy up on the depth chart, but Vidal is the guy who maybe they had more faith in as a draft pick. I don't know. He's still been hanging around this team on their depth chart and the practice squad. They elevate him to the starting roster before last week, so he gets a little bit of run. Let's see what happens, man. Maybe they go to Vidal. I think obviously if you had to prioritize them, it would probably be Haskins then Vidal. Vidal, who gives a fuck? But that's how I would do it. I'd pick both of them up. Not too much fab on both. Again, get the document. I don't have the fabs here, but you'll find it in the Discord. And then just quickly looking at some of these other names, obviously Jacory Croskey, if he's available, it's, all of your fab has to go on him. He's going to be like a potentially a league winning running back rest of the season. In your super shallow leagues, he might be on a waiver wire, so you definitely want to pick him up. Isaiah Davis, speculatively, he's the guy now behind Breece Hall. Actually goes 6 fantasy points, man. I would have killed to have Isaiah. I would have killed to have those 6 fantasy points in some of my leagues, man. I was starting Troy Franklin. I was down horrendous. But anyway, Brashard Smith, let's see what happens tonight. If he performs well, if he gets more usage, if he hits that like 40% snap rate, wheels completely up, dude. They've been talking him up, and we want to see what happens tonight in Monday Night Football. I'm starting this, man. So, if you're here with me, let's go, dude. And then, looking down the list, Jade on Blue was nothing. He ended up doing jack fuck all. Justice Hill also really does nothing. I thought this could be a game script where they'd be losing. Maybe they'd have to use him. He ends up doing nothing, dude. And Keaton Mitchell, who is actually active in this game, gets a couple of touches, just to see, just kind of dip his toes to see what's up with him. He's also somebody that I really like, but this is just an offense I don't really want a part of without Lamar. Let's move it along now. Let's talk about some wide receivers, man. Ryan Flournoy is someone where you can't ignore 9 targets. You can't ignore the increasing snap rate, and you can't ignore the production, obviously, right? Jalen Tolbert completely faked all this out. He ends up getting 1 target. I want to see the snap rates. I'm really interested in how many snaps he played, but Ryan Flournoy absolutely cooks, dude. He goes 9 targets, 6 for 114. His average depth of target was really good. Increasing snap rates. I want to see the snap rate for week 5. If he was a full-time player, he's somebody that we have to add, man. This is a Cowboys offense where if he can get you a couple of now, dude, honestly, we might be in the same situation as Tolbert, where Tolbert had like some nice usage. We put him in our lineups and he goes 0 fantasy points. This could be a Tolbert special, dude. It's a Cam Akers special, as I like to call it. So, Lamb's going to be out still, probably another week. They were talking about putting him on IR. Usually a high ankle sprain. You don't want to rush guys back, man. You want to make sure that they are back fully before you put them back in. So if Flournoy can get us a couple of good weeks with this really good, the Dallas Cowboys offense is like number 1 in almost every category, like passing yards, rushing yards, I think passing touchdown. Like they're just absolutely cooking right now. So, you can do worse, man. You could probably drop Tolbert, pick up Flournoy, and then, next week Tolbert's going to pop off. Flournoy is going to be butt cheeks, and you're going to drop Flournoy. This is just what we do, guys. And then Kendrick Bourne, probably the number 1 wide receiver pickup because he was electric, dude. Him and Mac Jones have rapport going back to their days with Jacksonville, or with the Patriots, rather. Sorry. And if these 2 guys get another start, meaning Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne, and if Big Dick Sticky Ricky is out again, which I don't know if he's going to be out. I feel like he could have potentially played on Thursday, but he didn't. But if he's out again, Bourne's going to be right there, man. And it's possible Bourne just maintains a role because Jennings could be ruled out again. But if it's Jennings and Pearsall and they're back next week, obviously Kendrick Bourne's not going to have a lot of value. So because of that, I don't think you need to spend too much. Like, let's wait and see, because it's going to be really wasted money if you drop fat stacks on Bourne and then Pearsall and Jennings are back. So that's just my inclination. That's just my instinct right now, is that Pearsall will be back. Jennings potentially not. But, you guys do what you got to do, man. If you're really desperate and you really need to start, if you can throw like 10 to 15 bucks on Kendrick Bourne and maybe he helps you out, even if Pearsall is back, if one of them is out. So I know I'm rambling at this point, but let's move it along. Trey Tucker, 11 fantasy points, 4 for 62. He shows some of the big play potential. This is a guy that I think is just going to be boom bust all season, and he could have gotten to the end zone this week in a very negative game script and garbage time. He could have had a Jamar Chase special, man. But, he ends up not really doing too much. I think you just got to stick with him. You probably dropped a lot of fab on him. Chris Moore, why is he even trending? Like, is that even a player? Let's see. Luke McCaffrey doesn't really do much. Malik Washington, I think the dream is over. I've been kind of talking about him all season. Looked like he was going to be thrust into a really good role. He gets 4 receptions for nothing. Is that real? Is that right? He gets 5 targets, 4 receptions for literally nothing. I don't know. Maybe he had some rushing yards. I can't see it here on Sleeper. Yeah, 0 total yards. Holy shit, dude. Yeah, drop Malik Washington, banish his ass to the Shadow Realm. Or maybe not, man. Maybe you got to hold him, but I don't know, dude. I don't think he's gonna, 46% rostered. I think that should probably just stay the way it is. Tyquan Thornton, obviously we got to see what happens tonight, but if you have open waivers today, you can pick him up and see what happens, man. He still got a touchdown last week, but his usage was really down bad. Xavier Worthy might not play, so Tyquan Thornton could be someone who pops up again in this game without Worthy. And now we got to talk about what's really important, man. We got to talk about some tight ends, dude. There's a litany, there's a bevy of tight ends for us to grab into the bag, pull one out, and they're going to give us 0 points. That's just what's going to happen, man. That's fantasy football. We are never lucky here, dude. That's the name of the channel. It's always the tight end that I fucking choose that ends up doing nothing. I just want to say, man, I just have to rant just for a second. I have Harold Fannin, and everyone was ranking him in the top 10, including myself. I start him. He gets 9 points. Basically, all 9 of his points happens in like the first 5 minutes of the game. And then after that, David Njoku says, yo, step aside, young buck. Hit the showers. It's my turn. He gets like 15 fantasy points. And then meanwhile, I'm over here glancing at Mason Taylor, Theo Johnson. Even Evan Engram was on my team at one point, and I just kept, flipping and flopping through both of them. And, everyone ends up really beasting. But let's talk at the top, Darren Waller. I mean, he's essentially just a top 5 tight end rest of the season. The usage, like, he's not running so many routes. He's not on the field a lot. But I fucking love that, dude. I love the fact that when he is on the field, he's getting targets. He's getting touchdowns. He's getting like big plays down the field, man. I will literally trade Harold Fannin and Matthew Golden right now for Darren Waller if I could. If you're listening to this, Matt, hit me up in the inbox. Taysom Hill's fake. He got a couple of gadget plays, does really nothing with him. That could turn into production in the future. Just never know. You just can't really start him. Brent Strange playing tonight, so obviously we don't know. AJ Barner, this one's interesting, man. We need to talk about this. So he is essentially heating up. He's heating up a lot, dude. So he had 1 touchdown in week 2, and then he gets 2 touchdowns last week. I mean, just look at the game log, man. He's playing 80% of the snaps most weeks. And in the weeks that he plays 80+%, he goes 7 for 53 and 2 touchdowns in this game in a really high scoring game. I just want to temper the expectations here. It was a very high scoring game. It was back and forth. It was high tempo. The dude gets 2 touchdowns. I don't think that's going to obviously happen every week, but this is a very competent, very capable, very good offense, a very good coaching staff. And Sam Darnold, I guess, is Peyton Manning. So I think you can do a lot worse, man. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to drop Harold Fannin for AJ Barner. I'm going to drop Harold Fannin for Darren Waller. I would drop Fannin. I mean, I'd drop Fannin for fucking Cam Akers at this point because the man actually threw a touchdown. But no, seriously, Mason Taylor is another guy we really got to talk about. He is also heating up, ascending in terms of snap rate or snap percent and in terms of opportunities. So he goes, this is from week 3 on. So week 3, 6 targets, week 4, 7, and week 5, 12. They're playing from behind, 9 for 67, doesn't get any touchdowns, but that could have easily went his way. He gets 17 fantasy points. You love to see it. All right, man. Theo Johnson is another one, dude. So Theo Johnson is an absolute physical specimen, dude. This is a man who is 6'6", 264, runs like an absolute gazelle out there. He goes 7 targets, 6 for 33, and also 2 touchdowns. If you would have put a double 2 touchdown parlay on Theo Johnson and AJ Barner, you would have won like fucking $20,000 on like $2. So insane. I actually had a double touchdown parlay. It was on Evan Engram and Mason Taylor. So I just chose the wrong 2 streamer tight ends, but he's going to be legit the rest of the season, man. I really do think that they just don't have any weapons at the moment. Darius Slayton now has a hamstring injury. Wan'Dale Robinson is Wan'Dale Robinson, right? I mean, he's not going to really do much for us. He's a low ADOT guy. He's not really an end zone threat. Dude, there's a chance that Theo Johnson emerges out of this offense, and he's legit. I just wouldn't start him next week against Philadelphia, but rest of the season, man, the options right now on this waiver wire in terms of tight ends are bountiful, dude. This is the week to drop some stacks on tight ends, and I don't think you can really go wrong with any of them, man. And let's go back now to the trending. All right, now we got to talk about Evan Engram, man. So he gets 6 targets. So in back-to-back weeks, he had 7 and then 6 targets. He goes 4 for 33, and then he gets the touchdown. He extends for the touchdown. It was a nice little play for them to actually, I think they took the lead on that touchdown. And I want to say this, man. I was doing a lot of research on Evan Engram before the game because I was really debating between him and Fannin, and I ended up going with Fannin. They both kind of performed similarly, but obviously Engram had 13 fantasy points. But before the game, Sean Payton was asked, how are we going to get Evan Engram more involved? How are you guys going to use him a little bit more? And he said, listen, we want to get him involved, but it just doesn't work out that way every time. We don't play fantasy football we play football to try to get our guys to win, right? We want our team to win. We want to put our guys in the best position to win. So Evan Engram is somebody that they want to use him. They keep calling him the Joker. I'm kind of tired of that Joker terminology, but he's a real weapon, man. He's very quick. He had a couple of nice plays where he had like some shallow crosses across the field where he really outruns linebackers pretty easily. And Evan Engram is still somebody that I'm actually really interested in at the tight end position. I'll probably rank him after Theo Johnson, Mason Taylor, and AJ Barner personally. That does it for the video, guys. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you giving me your time. If you did enjoy the video, give me a like. It's the best way to show support. Subscribe if you want to catch more of it. Make sure you guys join the Discord. You can get all the FAAB recommendations, how I have these guys ranked. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.